today's Friday, August 23rd, and I'm going to do a quick recap on what to look out for the end of the week on the S&P 500, particularly this futures chart. We had yesterday we had a bit of a move down, and this kind of gave us some new data points to kind of look at. So let's dive in and see what opportunities or where we can go. What are some possibilities here? So I'm going to I have my kind of what I've drawn out here, but I'm going to just hide that. This is my other chart, so it's not so confusing. But again, kind of starting here on the weekly. At the beginning of the week, I did call out a couple levels and things, and basically this weekly level, which we were to hold it and close under it by the end of the week, we will confirm. We have some level of confirmation of a weekly downtrend here. This is kind of, I guess, the first step of looking out for how we close the week. As do we close into this weekly? Do we close below it? Two scenarios that could give us a different future outlook for later on. So what I also am looking at here is we do have on the bottom side, I think one thing is important that I'm also have drawn on my chart, which is again this monthly trend that we've been drawing from here, which is basically fueling the run up. Don't need this for right now. Not like that. So this monthly trend, I color mine this pinkish color, and then just we're kind of sitting alongside it, but I like to make it a little bit more. Attach it here gives it a little bit more room, wiggle room on the weekly. So we're looking like this right now on the daily as well. We do have a daily trend from this bottom side right here. Move this down. Actually, here, we'll get rid of that. So we do have a daily trend. And I think the interesting thing about this trend is we are crossing it. And tomorrow, the Friday, the last day of this trading week, opens up the opportunity for this to close for a hard close, or basically closing in outside the trend. If we get a red candle here, we can assume this trend has been broken. Otherwise, I think we'll try to go. We'll make an attempt to try and get back above it. That's with the weekly. There's also this 4-hour trend, which yesterday we had this kind of drop down. What caught it, and that looks like about right here, and that caught it nice and perfect. Right, so we're kind of in between these two trends, right? So it's like if we get under the 4-hour and this close, then you also lose daily. If you don't manage to get above the daily and close a red candle in here, then you will lose this one. So it's kind of the higher time frame supersedes the lower one. However, there is a kind of condition that needs to be met here, which is if one breaks, then the other one breaks as well. So on the other hand, what we rejected from up here was really important as well. Yes, last week I was calling out that we had some 15-minute levels, that it was laddering down here until we got to a point over here, which it was doing those 15 levels, but then we broke through that. So those 15s didn't hold, but it did create some levels here, which also aligns with trend and which also supported this drop down. I'd say on the bottom side, before moving up, what we landed on was this daily level back here. So I marked that here as a daily. We landed on this, and this is basically, we could start to create this as a base for a move up. We'll have to see how that works out. We'll need a few tests of that. We could dive it below it deeper. Let's say we lose the 4-hour trend, take a deeper dive down to this monthly, and there are likely some levels down here that could hold it. We'll have to, that's kind of a deeper analysis, but continuing on from the top, right? What this hit was interesting. So what this hit right here was actually on the 4-hour. So tracing back, there is a 4-hour backside right here. I believe this is it. this is not it. I'm looking at this 4 hour right here. This one, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, that's it. So this is the 4 hour hit. So that being said, that now tested, we've also created a 4 hour origin right here. So this would now become the point of breakout. If the chart can get back up here, start to close some candles, start to close an hourly, start to get into the 4 hour closes above this, we can assume that we're going to test the higher parts up here. And up next would be this 4 hour to test next. We can close that. Or that's the if, right? So right now, that would be, I guess that would be next in the sequence. Right now, we landed on a daily. This drop down, I'm going back to the daily chart. This drop down also created a daily candle right here. So this created a newly created daily that we gained below, and like very likely we're coming up to test it. First, I would say the first target for this is at the top of this daily up here, which is where there would need to be, if it's going to hold down, there's going to be some levels in here to hold this down. So I'm going to mark a couple things: daily body and the daily top side, which is the daily rejection point, and dive into the 4 to see what we got. So with the 4, you have the daily body, you have a 4 hour as well right here that was created. You have next in line, you have another 4 right here. So you have a nice structure on the 4. If you can see, I think we're laddering 4s mostly. So at least we've evolved into 4s. Maybe we're laddering 15s, and now we are going into 4s, to me signifying that the move could be getting stronger in a downward direction. It's going to be up to these levels that were created, like this daily, for example, to hold things up, but time will tell with that. So we got a 4 hour right here, 4 hour here, the daily body, and this was the top of the daily rejection. And if we're going even deeper, here's like the greediest point of this 4, which, if anything, is going to hold it down. Something in here. So this is what I'm primarily looking for at a higher time frame without getting into the hourly and 15-minute. So possible scenarios here, I think that one we are under the weekly, which opens up for shorting right here. I think this is a really strong area where this could show. If we don't manage to get back above the weekly, or let's say we close below it for the end of the week, that'll give us a piece of information. One, that we are probably breaking this trend and finding the next level down here. The next part of this is, let's say, for intraday, maybe we do get up over it. You do have, I don't imagine these 4 hours to be in effect yet, or I imagine they will not. In order, these 4 hours won't be in effect yet to an exact, just because we haven't closed a 4 hour candle down here yet. If we do close a 4 hour, then I think these will become activated. But however, on the hourly, if we do go down, I think the important levels down here are more so based on the hourly, and pulling down probably into the 15, which is a pattern we've been kind of seeing throughout these moves. So your hourly is right here. That's the first one, your first hourly after the 4. And after this 4, your first hourly is right here. So this hourly and this 4 line up pretty well, I would say. This is actually, I should probably be drawing the wick of the 4, because that does align with the hourly backside. So this level right here, which is 4, also a 1 hour, I think is going to be mostly the target here, that if we are moving down, this needs to hold it and start moving it down, and let's say, again, it determines on whether or not we can get below the weekly by the end of the trading week. I imagine that if we do get above, this will be supported pretty quickly. If it doesn't, then I guess we'll see. That's something to determine really in the moment here. So these are the possible scenarios, right? If that does occur, that means we could be also confirming a weekly trend down. And a weekly trend down would mean that we also need a weekly level at the bottom, or possibly a daily that might be able to hold it and start to move up in the next move up. Otherwise, we could start to begin to go attack this monthly trend. That is like really the only thing that's one of the few things that I see are like that could hold it up. You do have this weekly right here, or something within. So this weekly also would be interesting to see if we can close above it. I'm looking at this and what could hold this, right? So here's a weekly, so it has to be something within here from this point to this point. And then if I'm moving down, you have this daily, which could also hold it, which was closed right here. And again, since we closed the daily, you have the backside daily and the front side daily, and this would be the one to perhaps hold over time and not close below it. And then on the 4 hour, your next in line it's actually all aligned right in this zone, right? So your next 4 hour becomes right here, and the 4 hour should hold it. I mean, we did get through it. We went from backside of it. Here, I would say is the front side of it right here. So you can see the 4 hour did hold, and yeah, so this 4 hour did hold, which also creates for us. This does do something, which is it creates for us a local trend like this. So that somewhat aligns nicely with this. I think, yeah, so this is, I think this breaks, this could continue to hold it out while we really chop in this area, and things have make, until we get to a point where we can determine like, which direction wants to go. What get held, where's the pressure? Are we getting more up pressure or down pressure? So that builds out really where we are right now. If we break out, I think we're going to these levels. Time, I guess we'll have to wait and see what develops at that point in time. All right, let's see how this week closes, and I'll be back next week to give an update.